Welcome back. Hopefully, we're all finally awake after that turkey dinner, and hopefully a great weekend with loved ones and enjoying our time together. Matt, I trust you guys had a good one, huh?
Yes, very, very stuffed.
Yeah. And the turkey is procured. So Matt was able to go out this past weekend and get his annual Christmas. Did I say turkey? I meant Christmas tree. Was able to go get the annual Christmas tree. Ours, too, has safely been put up. It was in 4 sections. We go the artificial route. So here we go into the prep for Christmas season. And as we do that, it's kind of a continuation of last week. You know, last week we talked about gratitude. Mm-hmm. Great week of the year to talk about gratitude.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, gratitude is what? Gratitude show, you know, we're grateful for stuff. But how do we show that? You know, and I think last week we talked a little bit about even some of our clients that we're grateful for and things in our life that we're grateful for. But how do we demonstrate that? How do we show it? How do we prove it, if you will, to other people that we're grateful for them or that we care?
Mm-hmm. And I think the key message there is consistency. Every year that we do the gratitude, it's one of our favorite shows, as we mentioned, and you know it's the act of maybe reaching out to someone that deserves a little bit more of our time, or someone we want to reconnect with. That's great. Fantastic. That's a single action. So I think what you're getting to is through our behaviors and consistent actions, how do we let people know that we really care? Not just talk about it, but show it.
Yeah, prove it.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember one time somebody said to me, how do you know somebody's a great listener? I start thinking of all the attributes of listening, right? No, somebody lets you know or prove they let you know they're a great listener by proving that they're a great listener, right? Whether it's through eye contact, nodding your head. Matt's listening to me because he's nodding his head right now, right? I know that. I knew that he was in it. He heard me. He was agreeing with me. We're united. We're aligned. How do we prove to people that, right? So it goes the same with caring. How do we prove that we care? If we were to go, I always love when we work with a client and we ask them something that's unique about them and they tell us and they start rattling off, we're the best at this or the greatest at that. And this is what we do. And our people work with us because, and they give you the value pitch. And then we always like to challenge them and say, now, which of your customers said that? And oftentimes people don't have that data, right? We don't go out and survey our customers or our clients often enough to know this is why somebody works with us. We think we know. And I would ask, if we were to go ask your clients, go ask your customers, tell us about them, what would they say? Mm-hmm. You think about that. What's the message we're sending into the marketplace, which is really the litmus test of are we proving we care or not?
Yeah, and are we approachable? Right? Are we approachable in that process? It's one thing to go out and do it actively, intentionally, which is great. And we've actually had clients that have done that, and it's been absolutely eye-opening. But if you think about, for me, are you approachable to someone in your office place? Are you approachable as a husband? Are you approachable as a son or a daughter or a brother or a sister? Because I think not everybody is, and I was talking to someone the other day, and very, very proud CEO, this open door policy. Oh, I'm extremely approachable. People can come in all the time, and we started talking about example after example after example of someone that did or someone that didn't, and he came to the conclusion that maybe I'm not as approachable, or I don't handle it when people do come in because I'm trying to solve for them, or I'm not listening, or I'm not validating their perspective, or validating their thoughts, their fears, their emotions. And it's more about listening, being quiet, waiting to speak versus that active listening, and that confirmation of you hear that person. You might disagree, but you're open to their perspective, and you want to walk forward together and come out with a good outcome.
I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before, but you looked at me and you said, I'm always learning from you. And yet I have moments like this where I feel like Matt's talking about me when you're talking about others that stun me and make me recollect about what do I do and how am I going to change that moving forward? And I think, what you just said is so convicting. You're right. We could say, oh, we care. Oh yeah, we're approachable. But what is that we leave people with? What is it? And this is from a sales side. What are we leaving people thinking about us? What are we leaving? Do they believe that we're there to solve their problems, or do they believe we're there to meet our quota?
Yep.
Right. And, it's one of our favorite phrases is our quota is not their problem. Right. And yet so often it is. So often.
Especially this time of year.
Right. Why? Desperate people do desperate things, and we put ourselves in desperate situations when we're fighting at the end of the year to get our needs met versus demonstrating and proving that we care about another, which Zig Ziglar, one of the most quoted men in the history of the planet, loves Zig Ziglar. Zig said at one point, if you help enough other people get what they need, you can't help but be successful, right? And bastardizing that phrase a little bit, paraphrasing. But if you help enough other people get the things that are important to them, get the things they need, the things they want, you can't help but be successful. Mm-hmm. Yet I think we lose that sometimes.
Yeah, and I think it ties into another one of our favorite topics of how do people feel and our awareness and approachability and, especially emotional intelligence, right? It ties into that. And then furthermore, two really big things that we talk about, not only the emotional intelligence, but I think building relationships and the feeling, it comes back to communication. And are we clearly communicating? Because listening is a big part of the battle, but so many of the pitfalls that I see in relationships, whether it's personal, professional, whatever it may be, I think sometimes come down to communication issues. Much like salespeople, it's assuming how someone
That's right.
might feel, or it's not clearly articulating what we need, because it's not one-sided. And managing those expectations. And I think you always say that, the easiest way to harm or ruin a relationship is mismanaging expectations. I think that comes down to clear, concise communication between two parties.
Yeah, and so often when we're called into an organization to help with a team building or leadership, people always say our big issue is communication. I say, oh yeah, tell me more about that. How's that play out? And it's always different, but it always is communication. And I think virtually every problem in selling, every problem internally as a leader, every problem in relationship, it's communication. How do we, and you've all watched this, you've watched your kids, you've watched neighbors, family members talking at each other and completely missing the meaning, right, of what's important. And then we lose the vision, we lose the mission of why we're trying to do something. So that's, one thing. And by the way, Chad Littlefield, Chad's a friend of the firm. We partner with him on a lot of things. He's a wonderful speaker, great keynote speaker. But Chad, I saw recently, he said, so that. He said, if you introduce these two words into your communication, it helps you vision cast. And he said the two words are so that. And too often we, either hear clients say, we do these things. People say, I'm going to do these things. And then that's it. It ends at the end of that sentence. There's a period. What if you added at the end of that period, at the end of that sentence, so that, right? So you think about what that means as a mission statement for your business. We do these things so that what? So that companies can accelerate growth, so that companies can become the best versions of themselves, so that our customers can experience something magical, whatever it is, so that ties you to your vision. What if you did that? What if the exercise this week was to see, do we actually have a vision? Do we connect what we do to that future state that we know is so important for us and for others? And then what if we went and asked people if we fulfilled it? What would they say? Because we say we do certain things. But what if we call our clients this week and say, hey, this is what we think we're doing. How are we doing with that? What would they say to us? And if they said something that was contrary to what we were hoping they would say, would we write it off, or would we prove that we cared by actually absorbing it and making that change?
Boy, I hope Paige, my wife, is not watching.
I'll be sending her a note to watch this on YouTube. So that's the challenge.
I can't help but go to the personal life with that, but it's so powerful, tying it to the vision, and I think it solidifies. Are we truly doing and having the impact that we think we are?
What's that come back to? It sounds a little bit like intentionality to me.
It's my middle name.
Wow. Here we go. We ended where we always start, I think. I don't know. But that's the I guess the challenge this week. Can we be intentional about our actions? Do we care? Probably not a good exercise if you don't. Do we care about what people think of us and how easy it is for us to work with them? Do we care about the impact we're having on the lives of others? Do we care about that from a professional standpoint? Do we care about that as a person? And do we care enough to then do something about it? So I don't know. Go examine, see what people say, see if people tell you what a great job you're doing, the impact you're having, so that you can go and have the impact I know you want to have on the lives of others. Have a great week. Take care. God bless.